What is going on, guys? It's Conrax here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we need to talk about the current state of Modern Warfare 2 because right now this game is being destroyed by cheaters once again. But just before we get into that, if you're new here or you are a returning viewer, make sure you hit that subscribe button, enable all notifications. Also, leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Tell me, have you encountered any cheaters yet in Modern Warfare 2? Because I myself have seen a lot of them in my lobbies recently. And there is a very good reason why we are seeing much more cheating activity in Modern Warfare 2 right now. I'm sure we all remember the flying boat situation that we had back when this game first launched. There were boats flying around the maps like planes in Al Mazrah. Cheats for this game were developed at an extremely fast pace, and it wasn't long before we saw cheaters in Warzone, DMZ and multiplayer. Now, Activision and Infinity Ward supposedly did a bunch of work to improve their Ricochet anti-cheat to make sure that we don't have another cheating epidemic like we did back in the Warzone 1 and Modern Warfare 2019 days. If you played Warzone 1 at the peak of its popularity, I'm sure you will remember how completely scuffed that game was when it came to just the amount of cheaters that were ruining every single lobby. Activision's answer to that was, of course, the Ricochet anti-cheat, which uses AI to detect unusual patterns of gameplay and flags any possible cheaters so that they can be banned later on. And whilst of course it has done a pretty good job at stopping the cheaters, it was only a matter of time before they found a way to come back and ruin the multiplayer experience even further. Which is exactly what has just happened. Call of Duty's biggest cheat provider is back once again, selling undetected cheats on their website that can be purchased extremely easily, that literally anyone can get access to if they have access to a debit card and a gaming PC. I'm not going to name the provider of these cheats here in this video, but I'm sure you guys already know who I'm talking about. These are the people that were responsible for the absolute state that we had back in Warzone 1.0 and multiplayer in Modern Warfare 2019. When it comes to Call of Duty, they are the biggest cheat provider that you can find. They make absolutely millions of dollars in profit every single year from people that pay for these cheats. And there is no way that Activision do not know who these providers are. In fact, Activision are all too familiar with this provider because back in Warzone 1.0, we saw the banning of hundreds of thousands of accounts in ban waves that specifically targeted people who had installed and used this cheat actively on their accounts or even in the past. I understand that cheats in video games are very difficult to combat. It's always a game of cat and mouse between the developers and the people that actually developed these systems and cheats. But the main question is why are these providers allowed to continue to sell cheats on their website when Activision clearly knows who they are? And why isn't the Ricochet anti-cheat performing as it should and stopping these people from ruining the game even further? It's crazy how Activision and Infinity Ward can develop these really complex SBMM, EOMM systems that many players in the COD community don't agree with, and that I would say actively ruin the experience for almost everyone. Yet when it comes to their anti-cheat solution, which I would argue is one of the most important things in any game nowadays, Ricochet has been left behind in the dust. And the floodgates are now open to all of these providers to sell cheats for Modern Warfare 2, which in my opinion is completely unacceptable for a game of this size, a game that costs this much, and the fact that it's published by one of the biggest publishers in the world. Because when you have a player base as large as Call of Duty's, the number one priority should be that players aren't exposed to cheats and exploits in their games. Whilst for many the cheaters will be far and fetched, for players that play at a much higher level who have a much better KD ratio, where the SBMM system constantly puts them into extremely sweaty lobbies, they will be forced to play with cheaters on a regular basis because naturally they have high stats and cheaters as well will have very good stats too, which is another negative side effect of SBMM. But it seems that Activision just do not care anymore about the player base. They do not care how long you've been playing Call of Duty, they don't care how many of the games you've played in the past, or even if your games are being plagued by cheaters on the regular. All they care about is the money that lines their pockets from things like the Battle Pass and the disgusting, useless cosmetics that we see in the store. Because if Activision really did care about the cheating problem in their games, it would take just the click of their fingers to shut these providers down with the sheer amount of power and wealth that they hold. We have seen many game publishers go after cheat providers legally before and ultimately get the cheats removed from the public domain. Now, I have seen an article recently that stated that Activision had actually gone after this specific cheat provider legally and had filed a lawsuit earlier on in January, so we can only hope that something comes out of that. But it's been well over a month at this point and the cheats are still available to purchase on the internet. Whilst Activision going after cheat providers in a legal way may deter many more cheat providers from turning up in the future, it certainly isn't the best course of action. Because ultimately what will happen is they will sue this cheat provider and they will win, and then 10 more cheat providers will turn up in the future, and this cycle will just continue on until they actually make their anti-cheat worth having. There are many different anti-cheat solutions that are in most of our popular games that we play nowadays, and I would argue that almost all of them are better than the Ricochet system at preventing cheats in games. Things like MWII, Easy Anti-Cheat have all provided very good solutions in games like Fortnite and Tarkov. And whilst those games both have their cheating problems too, and no anti-cheat is going to stop cheaters 100% of the time, when it comes to how easily accessible and how easily manipulated the anti-cheat for Modern Warfare 2 can be, I think it's safe to say that the Ricochet anti-cheat is just failing in every single way. And if something isn't done soon to prevent the cheats from spreading even more, then I'm afraid that Modern Warfare 2 is going to end up going down the exact same path that we saw with the original Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone 1.0. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's try and break that 3,000 mark by the end of this month. Be sure to check out the videos on the screen in just a second. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.